Shares of Samsung took a hit today in South Korea, where they trade on concerns over sales of Samsung's flagship phone, the Galaxy S4. And that has some concern that the company's rapid growth in the high-end smartphone market may be slowing, and whether the smartphone market itself is saturated. Our Jon Fortt has more.
Every great run must come to an end, and it's beginning to look that way for meteoric growth in the smartphone market. Samsung, the Korean electronics powerhouse and Apple's chief rival, today projected that its operating profit for the second quarter would fall short of analysts' expectations. Samsung says to expect about $8.3 billion in operating profit versus the $8.9 billion observers were hoping for.
It's like a replay of what happened to Apple stock over the past 9 months. Samsung stock has taken a dive in the past month to levels it hasn't seen since last September, when Apple stock woes began.
The culprit? Smartphones are a huge market, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of room for growth at the high end. Roughly 60% of U.S. adults have one already.
For Samsung, their best days could be behind them. Frankly, Apple's best days are behind them as well. And so it just becomes more of a question of law of large numbers and maturation and penetration of the market opportunity.
The same thing happened to the iPod 5 years ago. After being hugely popular for 4 years, profitability began to wane from the line of music players. The difference this time, smartphone sales are so enormous that they've turned Apple into one of the most valuable companies on the planet, a run the late Apple co-founder and CEO started with a modest prediction.
And we think what we've done is to reinvent the phone and completely change what your expectations are going to be for what you can carry in your pocket.
So what's next? When the PC market's saturated, we got iTunes and the iPod. When the music player market's saturated, we got a new generation of smartphones. If history is any guide, the next wave of profit will come from devices and services that connect to all those phones. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Jon Fortt in San Jose.